if you're over 60, this one's for you. Grab a seat and maybe a cup of tea, because we're about to dive into something critical. There's a daily habit you might be doing, thinking it's keeping you healthy, but it could actually be setting you up for a silent stroke while you're sleeping. No warning signs, no sharp pains, just one moment you're dozing off, feeling perfectly fine, and the next, you wake up unable to lift your arm. Your words coming out all jumbled, or your balance so off, you can't stand straight. As a neurologist who's worked with countless older adults across the U.S., Canada, Australia, and Europe, I've seen this happen way too many times. And here's the shocker. It's not because of smoking, eating junk, or skipping your morning walk. It's something you probably think is harmless vitamins. Yep, those little pills you pop every day. Millions of seniors take supplements to keep their bones strong, boost their energy, or keep their minds sharp. And I get it, vitamins sound like a safe bet, right? But here's the thing. Some of them, especially in high doses or taken at the wrong time, can quietly put your brain at risk, particularly in those early morning hours when your body's most vulnerable. Today, I'm going to walk you through 5 common vitamins that could increase your risk of a stroke or other serious brain issues. This isn't just a bunch of medical jargon. It could be a game changer for you or someone you love. So, let's dig in and figure out what's really going on with those supplements in your cabinet. Have you ever stopped to wonder if your vitamins might be doing more harm than good? I mean, really thought about it? Drop a type 1 in the comments if you're curious. Or a type 0 if this is all new and a bit surprising. And if brain health is something you care about, or if you're looking out for someone else, hit that like button and subscribe to Wellness Hub for honest, science-backed tips tailored for seniors. We're starting with the one that catches most people off guard, vitamin D. It's supposed to be your body's best friend, but it can turn a restful night into a dangerous one if you're not careful. Vitamin D, the sneaky threat you never saw coming. You've probably heard all the buzz about vitamin D. It's great for your bones, lifts your mood, and even gives your immune system a boost. And in small, controlled doses, that's absolutely true. It's like sunshine in a bottle, right? But there's a dark side most seniors never hear about. Too much vitamin D, especially if you take it at night, can quietly increase your risk of a stroke. I know, it sounds wild-like. How could something so healthy be risky? But I've seen it firsthand with my patients, and it's a wake-up call. Let me tell you about John Carter, a 72-year-old retired firefighter from Colorado. John was the kind of guy who had his life together up at dawn, eating lean proteins and veggies, and sticking to his supplement routine like it was a military drill. One of those pills was a 10-0 IU vitamin D capsule he picked up at the drugstore, thinking it was the key to keeping his bones strong as he aged. He'd heard all the talk about brittle bones and fractures, and he wasn't about to let that happen to him. But what he didn't know was that this daily habit was slowly pushing his body toward a health crisis. One morning, his wife found him in a foggies. Words were slurred. His right arm hung limp, and he couldn't make sense of what was happening. He'd had a stroke overnight. Lab tests showed his calcium levels were through the roof. His arteries were stiff as old pipes, and his blood pressure was spiking, dangerous, all linked to that vitamin D. Here's what's going on. When you take high doses of vitamin D without a doctor's guidance, it can cause calcium to build up in your bloodstream. Your body's like, whoa, what do I do with all this extra calcium? So it starts dumping it into your arteries, making them hard and narrow, like a garden hose clogged with sediment. As we age, our arteries naturally lose some of their elasticity, and then you add in dehydration, a rough night's sleep, and a nighttime calcium surge boom, you've got a perfect storm for a stroke. The scariest part? There's no warning. You go to bed feeling like your usual self, maybe even proud of sticking to your health routine, and wake up with your life turned upside down. And here's something that'll make your jaw drop. A ton of over-the-counter vitamin D supplements in places like the U.S., Canada, or Australia pack way more than seniors need. 5-0 IU, 10-0 IU, sometimes even higher. People pop these every day, thinking more is better, like it's some kind of health insurance. But studies show that if you're not deficient, even 2-0 IU can be too much for most folks. If you're taking vitamin D alongside calcium supplements or heart medications, you've got to be extra cautious. Get your blood levels checked regularly. Your doctor can run a simple test to see where you're at and make sure you're taking it in the morning, not before bed when your body's winding down. So, what's your daily dose? Drop it in the comments. Let's get a real conversation going. And if this is making you second guess your routine, hit that like button to help others find this info. It could be a lifesaver. If vitamin D threw you for a loop, hold on to your hat for the next one. It's marketed as a heart hero, but for seniors, it can lead to something far worse than a clot of brain bleed. Vitamin E, the heart supplement that could harm your brain. Vitamin E is one of those supplements that gets a lot of hype as a heart saver. If you've been taking it for years, you're definitely not alone. Tons of folks over 60 add it to their daily routine, hoping it'll keep their circulation humming, their memory sharp, or even their skin looking youthful. It's like the poster child for natural health. But here's what the bottle doesn't tell you. Too much vitamin E, especially when mixed with common heart medications, can quietly increase your risk of a brain bleed. Yeah, even if you're doing everything else right, this one can sneak up on you. Let me share a story about Margaret Thompson, an 80-year-old retired school teacher from Vermont. Margaret was sharp as a tack always, reading a thick novel or puzzling over a crossword in her cozy living room. She had a heart valve condition and was on warfarin, a blood thinner, with her doctors keeping a close eye on her. Her blood work was solid. Her blood pressure was steady. Everything seemed under control. Then she saw an ad in a health magazine for a natural vitamin E supplement promising to boost her memory and improve her circulation. It sounded perfect. With 800 IU per capsule, she figured, why not? It's just a vitamin. 3 weeks later, she was rushed to the ER with a pounding headache, confusion, and nausea that wouldn't quit. A brain scan showed a hemorrhagic strokia bleed in her brain. Not from high blood pressure or a fall, but from the combination of warfarin and high-dose vitamin E thinning her blood so much that a fragile vessel in her brain just gave way. Here's the deal. High doses of vitamin E act like a natural blood thinner, slowing down your body's ability to form clots. That might sound fine, but if you're already on something like aspirin, Plavix, or any blood thinner, adding vitamin E is like pouring gasoline on a fire. It can quietly ramp up your risk of internal bleeding, especially in your brain. Even a tiny bleed can mess with your speech, your memory, or your ability to walk. For seniors, the recommended daily intake is just 15 mg about 22 IU. But walk into any drugstore or scroll online, and you'll see supplements with 200, 400, or even 0 IU per capsule, with no warnings about the risks. Margaret pulled through, but she now needs a walker to get around, and her short-term memory's not what it used to be. She told me, her voice cracking, I just wanted to stay sharp and keep my independence. I had no idea I was putting myself in danger. This one hits me hard because Margaret's story is so common. So many seniors assume if it's a vitamin, it's got to be safe, like it's just a little health boost. But if you're on heart or blood pressure meds, you need to talk to your doctor before adding anything new to your routine. Drop vitamin E in the comments if you've ever taken it or know someone who has. Let's keep this conversation going and make sure no one else gets caught off guard. Vitamin B6, the nerve booster that can break your nerves. If the idea of a brain bleed wasn't enough to make you pause, let's talk about a vitamin people take for energy and nerve health that can actually damage your nerves, sometimes permanently. Vitamin B6 is one of those supplements you see everywhere in brain boost or nerve support bottles at the pharmacy, promising sharper focus, more energy, or better memory. And sure, in tiny amounts, B6 is crucial for keeping your nerves and brain humming. But take too much, and it can turn against you in ways you'd never expect. Let me tell you about Tom Reynolds, a 75-year-old retired mechanic from Oregon. Tom was a hands-on guy, always tinkering with something in his garage. But then he started noticing numbness in his feet and a weird tingling in his hands, like pins and needles that wouldn't go away. His balance started getting shaky, and he brushed it off as just part of getting older. I mean, who hasn't felt a little off as the years pile up, right? But then he started falling first once, then twice, and the third time, he cracked his head on the bathroom floor. When I sat down with him and went through his supplements, the problem was crystal clear. For over a year, he'd been taking a nerve support formula that claimed to boost brain health and circulation. Each tablet had 100 milligrams of B6, and he was taking 2 a day. That's 200 milligrams, 10 times the safe upper limit for seniors. Unlike some vitamins that your body flushes out with a glass of water, B6 builds up in your system over time. In older adults, it can start stripping away the protective coating around your nerves, like peeling the insulation off a wire. The result? Tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, tremors, even confusion or memory problems that can feel like the early stages of something much worse. The worst part is how sneaky it is. These symptoms creep up so slowly that people blame arthritis, aging, or even early dementia. But it could be B6 toxicity, a slow, preventable kind of nerve damage caused by a pill that's supposed to be helping you. If you catch it early, you can stop the damage, but it's often permanent. Tom was lucky we stopped the supplement and the damage didn't get worse. But he still needs a cane to get around, and he can't drive anymore. He told me, "I thought I was keeping my brain strong. I didn't know I was hurting it." Seniors only need about 2 to 10 milligrams of B6 daily, including what you get from foods like bananas or chicken. But tons of brain health or energy pills online or in stores pack 50, 100, or even 200 milligrams per dose, way more than your body can handle. If you're taking anything labeled for nerves, energy, or brain health, flip that bottle over and check the label. Know your numbers. Drop B6 in the comments if you've taken it or know someone who has. Let's make sure no one else gets blindsided by this. Vitamin A, the vision hero that can cloud your future. You're probably thinking, okay, but vitamin A's gotta be safe. It's just for eyesight, right? I mean, that's what we've all heard since we were kids. Eat your carrots. They're good for your eyes. Most seniors know vitamin A is key for vision, immunity, or keeping your skin healthy. Maybe you take it to age gracefully, or because someone said it'll keep you looking young. But here's the truth nobody talks about. Too much vitamin A doesn't just sit in your system, it builds up and can increase pressure inside your skull, mimicking a stroke, blurring your vision, or even damaging your brain in ways you'd never see coming. Let me tell you about Susan Harper, a 78-year-old retired music teacher from Maine. Susan was a vibrant soul, always playing her piano, teaching kids in her cozy living room, and fiercely proud of her independence. But then she started getting headaches that wouldn't quit, followed by blurry vision, dizziness, and slurred speech. Her family was terrified, thinking she'd had a stroke. But when we ran scans, we found something: el seno clot, no bleed, just dangerously high pressure in her brain. Her spinal fluid was backed up, putting stress on the tiny vessels in her brain. The culprit? Vitamin A toxicity. For years, she'd been taking a high-dose skin and eye supplement with nearly 10 IU daily, not realizing it was slowly building up in her system. Here's why this matters. Vitamin A is fat, soluble, meaning your body stores it in your liver, tissues, and even your brain. Unlike water-soluble vitamins like C or B that flush out with a trip to the bathroom, vitamin A sticks around. As we age, our livers slow down, and this buildup happens faster. Too much vitamin A can lead to a condition called pseudotumor cerebria, fake brain tumor, that causes headaches, blurry or double vision, dizziness, nausea, even permanent vision loss or cognitive decline. The tricky part? Many multivitamins already have the full recommended dose of vitamin A, but people like Susan unknowingly double or triple it with extra eye or anti-aging formulas. The safe upper limit for seniors is about 500 to 3 IU daily, and only under medical supervision if you actually need it. But tons of supplements online or in stores pack 5, 0, 10, 0 IU or more, letting damage pile up over months or years. Susan's slowly getting better, but she needs regular eye exams, pressure checks, and balanced therapy to stay on track. She told me, "I thought I was taking care of myself, keeping my eyes sharp. I never dreamed it could mess with my brain like that. I share her story not to scare you, but to make sure you've got the facts to protect yourself and your independence. If you're taking anything for your eyes or skin, check those labels and talk to your doctor. Niacin, vitamin B3. The cholesterol fix that can spike your risk. If the risks with vision weren't enough to make you double-check your supplements, let's talk about a vitamin you might be taking for your heart or cholesterol that can quietly send your blood pressure soaring. Niacin, or vitamin B3, is often praised as a natural way to lower cholesterol and keep your heart in check. You'll find it in heart supplements, energy drinks, or even fortified cereals, and some doctors even prescribe it. But here's what gets left out of the conversation. High doses of niacin can cause dangerous blood pressure swings in seniors, sometimes even triggering a stroke. Meet Robert Klein, an 81-year-old retired postal worker from Florida. Robert came to me with a weird mix of symptoms. His face would flush red like he'd been out in the sun too long, his heart would race, and he'd get dizzy spells every morning. His wife thought it was anxiety. His son figured it was his blood pressure meds acting up. But the real issue was something nobody thought to check: a heart health supplement he'd bought online, labeled supports cholesterol and circulation. It had 1 mg of niacin per dose, and he was taking it twice a day too, 0 milligrams total, over 60 times what most seniors need. Here's what happens. High-dose niacin makes your blood vessels widen suddenly, causing that warm, flushed feeling. But when those vessels snap back and constrict, it's like squeezing a water balloon. It can spike your blood pressure, stress your heart, and cut blood flow to your brain. Think of it like tapping a fragile glass with a hammer one day. It's going to crack. Robert had a transient ischemic attack, or TIAA, mini-stroke. His speech slurred for a couple of minutes, then came back. He thought he'd dodged a bullet, but I had to sit him down and tell him the truth. His heart supplement was quietly harming his brain. Tons of seniors unknowingly take high-dose niacin, thinking it's safer to buy flush-free or extended-release versions online. But even those can raise blood pressure, trigger irregular heart rhythms, or mess with blood sugar levels. For seniors, anything over 50 mg of niacin daily should only be taken under medical supervision, especially if you have high blood pressure or heart issues. Check your labels and drop niacin in the comments if you've taken it or know someone who has. Let's make sure no one else gets caught off guard. The smarter path. Feed your brain with real food. Alright, so now you're probably sitting there thinking, if these vitamins can be so risky, what am I supposed to do instead? That's the best question you could ask, because here's the truth. Your body wasn't built to run on pills. It's designed to thrive on real, whole foods, natural, nutrient-packed foods that your brain knows how to use in just the right amounts. Let me tell you about Ellen Parker, a 74-year-old retired principal from Arizona. When I met her, she had a whole drawer stuffed with supplements: vitamin D for her bones, E for her heart, B complex for energy, niacin for cholesterol, you name it. She was doing all the right things, she told me. But she was dizzy. Her balance was off, and her blood pressure was all over the place. Something was seriously wrong. So we took a bold step. We cleared out the pills and focused on food. No fancy diets, no expensive meal plans, just simple, whole foods at the right times. Her breakfast became a boiled egg for clean protein, half an avocado for healthy fats, a slice of whole grain toast for steady energy, a handful of blueberries for brain-protecting antioxidants, and a glass of room-temperature water to keep her hydrated. Sometimes she'd toss in a few walnuts or almonds for a little crunch. That's it. No powders, no capsules, just real, recognizable food that her body could actually use. In just a few weeks, Ellen started noticing a difference. Her dizziness faded, her blood pressure leveled out, and her energy came roaring back. She told me her mind felt clearer than it had in years, like someone had lifted a fog from her brain. Why does this work? Because your brain needs hydration, healthy fats, consistent fuel, and micronutrients in their natural forms, not megadoses from a bottle. Some of the best foods for seniors include leafy greens like spinach or kale, packed with folate and antioxidants. Fatty fish like salmon or sardines, loaded with omega-3s to protect brain cells. Berries for inflammation-fighting polyphenols. Nuts and seeds for vitamin E and magnesium. And whole grains to keep blood sugar steady and support circulation. These foods don't just shield your brain, they support your heart, bones, mood, and mobility. You're not just eating, you're healing with every single bite. And here's a little extra tip. Eating these foods isn't just about health, it's about joy. Think about the crunch of fresh walnuts, the sweetness of a ripe blueberry, or the satisfaction of a hearty slice of whole grain toast. It's food that feels good, tastes good, and does good. Ellen started looking forward to her meals, and she told me it was like rediscovering what eating was supposed to feel like. If you're ready to make a change, start small, swap one supplement for a real food snack and see how you feel. You might be surprised at the difference. Your wake-up call. Awareness is your greatest ally. Here's the big takeaway, and I want you to really hear this. At this stage of life, every single choice matters more than ever. Even well-meaning habits like taking vitamins can backfire if you're not paying attention. Awareness is your greatest ally, your superpower. Really. You don't need to be afraid of vitamins, but you do need to treat them with respect, like you would any powerful tool. Read the labels, have an honest talk with your doctor, and listen to your body, especially when it's whispering that something's not quite right. If any of this hit home for you, drop a comment and let me know one change you're going to make starting tomorrow. Maybe it's checking your supplement labels, cutting back on a dose, or adding a handful of berries to your breakfast. Whatever it is, share it. Your story could inspire someone else. If you found this helpful, hit that like button to help others find it, and subscribe to Wellness Hub so we can keep learning, growing, and staying strong together. You're not in this alone, and you're never too old to take control of your health. Let's do this, one smart step at a time.